Hey guys, Andrew here, Nashville severe weather. We have a severe thunderstorm warning now for Davidson County that has come out in the past few minutes and is affecting basically north of 40 in Davidson County, but it covers a good part of Davidson County here. And so we're going to take a look at that here in just a second. And let me change just a couple things here real quick before we jump into this. But we got a line of storms coming in from the west, as you can see. And let me get out of something here right quick. There we go. And so we're looking here at radar, and we got these line of storms coming in from the west that are now in Dickson County, and they are approaching Cheatham County. And the part of the warning that we are watching right now is a severe thunderstorm warning polygon for northern Davidson County. So you can see here on the radar who's included and who's not at this moment. Don't get too caught up at this moment on who's included and who's not, because it's possible that other warnings could come out that affect Williamson County here a little bit later. We're watching a storm down around Hohenwald, down in Lewis County, and so we're keeping an eye on that as it pushes our direction in Williamson County. So we'll just have to see how things go here in just a minute. So let's talk just a second about this warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 11:45 for Davidson County, basically north of 40. But it does go down south, and so basically north of like Old Hickory Boulevard on the south end of town. So this goes to 11:45. Severe thunderstorm is located in a line extending from Cumberland Furnace to near Burns. That's over in Dickson County, moving east at 55 miles an hour. Winds to 60 miles an hour, and penny-size hail are possible as this moves off to the east. So this will include areas like downtown Nashville, Vanderbilt, Bells Bend, Riverwalk. Bellevue's on the very southern end of this warning polygon, but you are included in it. Fontenelle, Beeman Park, Joelton, all the way up into the Bakers and Goodlettsville community and over toward Madison. So that is who is included in the severe thunderstorm warning right now as this pushes off to the northeast. This is the cell there in red that we're watching, and the Weather Service is concerned about possibly some damaging winds in a part of that cell. So let's go over and take a look at velocities here, and you can see if I back up in time, you can see these blues that are included over here in the velocities. These are winds that could be up over 60 miles an hour, and keep in mind that some straight line winds as a part of severe thunderstorm warnings can be as strong as low end tornadoes. So don't discount the fact that it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, so keep in mind that that these can be strong as well. All right, let's back out again and go over to regular radar, and let's take a look at what's going on down to our southwest. Another severe thunderstorm warning has come out, and it does not include Williamson County right now, but it includes Murray County, and it's on the cell that we've been watching down here to the southwest. And to be honest with you, it actually has pretty decent rotation with it. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on that as it moves off to the northeast here, and you can kind of see winds that are generally going away from the radar and winds going toward the radar. There's some rotation there northeast of the town of Hohenwald there as a part of this cell. So there's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for that down in Murray County. We're going to keep an eye on that because that's going to be generally heading for Spring Hill and areas south of Franklin over toward the fairgrounds and just generally southern Williamson County here in a little bit. So that's down the road just a tad. We got some time on that one, but let's not ignore the threat down there to the southwest of us in Williamson County. Back up to the north here, we can see the severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for Davidson County. And again, this is in effect until 11:45 tonight, so about another 45 minutes as these storms go through. The good news is that once these storms go through, we should be in good shape as far as the threat for the rest of the night. This is the main event, and so that's the good news as a part of this tonight. Let me look over here at your comments and see. Let's see here what y'all are asking here. Just some general questions here about specific areas. Let me just tell you what, I'm just going to refer you to the polygon over here. If you know where you are on a map, areas like Hermitage, you're right on the edge of it to the east. Madison, you are included in this. Goodlettsville, you are included up to Bakers and Luton's and over Ivy Point, Greer Road, Joelton, Beeman Park, Fontenelle, Bells Bend. Those areas are included in this warning. Brentwood, you are not included yet. Franklin, you are not, nor is Fairview. Nolensville is not included either, but we are keeping an eye on this storm down to the southwest that could affect those areas here in a little bit. So let's back out and look here just a little bit at what's going on. This is a line of storms that we've been talking about for the past couple of days. We've been watching the severe threat on as we've been going through time here, and this is it. So this is the line of storms that's been back in West Tennessee earlier today and has been marching to the east. And so after this moves through, it looks like a broken line instead of a solid line. It's a broken line of cells, and as they push off to the east and they move on through, this will be the end of the threat for tonight. So that's the good news out there. This is over in Oak Hill. This is along Franklin Pike there in South Nashville, just north of Brentwood. And this is, you can see over across Franklin Road there, the wind not blowing very hard at the surface. It's not a super windy night as it's been during the day the past couple of days. We're, but just aloft, there is a lot of wind energy just right over our heads there. And so that's where some of the energy for these storms is coming from. So that's over in Oak Hill right now. Looks like the worst of these cells is going to go just to the north and the west of where this camera is and be more up into Davidson County than down there on the south end. So we'll watch it here. But according to radar, it looks like Franklin Pike there around Brentwood might get a break there, and they might experience the weaker part of that line. All right, so let's talk about the warning again. If you're just joining us, folks, I'm seeing here watching from Hermitage and talking about the last tornado that we had come through here on March 3rd. We do not have any tornado warnings in effect right now. These are severe thunderstorm warnings that are in effect. In fact, just one affecting us here in Davidson County. Nothing for Williamson County quite yet, but we're going to keep an eye on that. So don't be disconnected and don't lose touch here as we go through time, because that may change. So up here on the northern end in Davidson County, looks like the strongest velocity here is going to be right in the northeastern corner of Dickson County, and that's according to the radar here in Old Hickory near the National Weather Service office. And looks like the strongest velocities are there right on the northeastern side of Dickson County. And looks like that area of strongest wind is moving off to the northeast. But don't discount the winds down here around Kingston Springs and in other areas of this polygon, because they could be pretty strong here as well in the southern end of this storm. As it pushes on toward Kingston Springs, Riverwalk and Bellevue will be the first places to experience this storm. Is Wilson in the clear? No, you're not. The line is still west of you. All right. Looking at your questions here. All right, so what I'm seeing, you're asking some questions about locations. Let me just say this. It will generally move from west to east. All right, so basically southwest to northeast, but let's just say west to east. And so that would basically mean areas in Dickson, Cheatham County would experience a storm first, as they are right now. Then the storm gets to Davidson County, and then the storm gets to Sumner County and Wilson County. So it's basically moving from left to right on your screen, and that's why the warning polygons are out here ahead of the line. And that's a good prediction of where this line is going, and where this storm is going is right here where the polygons are pointed. You can kind of see they're pointed in a northeasterly direction. And so these are the areas that are being warned for the potentially damaging winds that are here in Cheatham and Dickson counties right now, but are heading for Davidson County. So that's the way the warnings are laid out here. There is not a warning in effect for Williamson County right now, but we are watching this storm. Let's go check it again down here in Lewis County. Still some broad rotation here in Lewis County. In fact, the place to watch here is going to be right here east of Kimmins, west of Hampshire, right on the northeastern tip of Lewis County. That's going to be where we're going to watch for some potential rotation here, and as that moves northeast. So Spring Hill, heads up, there's not a tornado warning in effect for this. It is a severe thunderstorm warning, but they do include a tag on this severe thunderstorm warning in the text of it that says a tornado is possible, and they're going to keep an eye on that as it moves to the northeast, eventually towards Spring Hill. So let's not forget what's going on down there to the southwest of us in Lewis County. All right, so let's go back up here to the north. It looks to me like this storm is might be having a hard time maintaining its strength on the south end of the storm here in eastern Dixon County. Most of the wind energy, according to radar, has moved up here into the west side of Cheatham County. So we're going to see what that holds here in just a minute. So let's talk about what the storm is going to do for Davidson County. So the threat here is for 60-mile-an-hour winds and penny-size hail. So we're looking at the possibility of having straight line winds, and what that means is that loose objects outside, tree limbs, stuff like that can be damaged. 60-mile-an-hour winds can do some damage, especially with uprooting trees and that kind of thing. So when we have these lines of storms come through here in Nashville, and we have these 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, those are the times where you see, a spike in power outages and those kinds of things as they come through. So that's kind of what to expect with a severe thunderstorm warning like this as it comes into Davidson County. Let's see, down here to the south, I want to keep checking this line down here to the south. Still some pretty decent rotation. It's still kind of broad, but we're going to watch this down here to the southwest. Still watching it down here in Lewis County, and as it moves into Murray County here in just a minute. Check in with the Weather Service here. They say they are seeing a weakening trend with the storms to the north. That would include some of our storms up here in Davidson County. The strongest cells with the most lightning are down here in Wayne County. That's even further southwest. Ahead of the storms, storm food is still there, and storm ingredients are still there, but not as strong. So they are expecting, basically what they're saying here from the Weather Service, we're continuing to expect pockets of damaging winds, and they're keeping an eye on those embedded tornadoes that can pop up in situations like this. So we're going to keep an eye on that and see how it progresses here in just a few minutes. So minute by minute, we're going along here watching what will happen as this line pushes in. But they definitely do not look quite as strong as they did a little bit ago. All right, let's check velocities here. Again, strongest velocities still appear to be up in northern Cheatham County here, north of Ashland City, and those are going to be pushing off to the northeast. And hopefully that may go north of Davidson County, the strongest area of wind there. But still could be some strong winds down here in Kingston Springs that we'll have to watch out for in the next 15 or 20 minutes as it gets close to Davidson County. Let's see here. Going to check on, I tell you what, let's check on another radar that is over here. This is a radar in Nolensville, and we're going to look at this area down here southwest of us. Still some broad rotation, so nothing's really changed. We're just looking at it from a different perspective. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Let's go back to the radar in Old Hickory. And Weather Service is noting that this storm approaching Davidson County has weakened significantly, so they're gonna make a decision here on whether to keep the warning going or to drop it or what they're gonna do. So, but they are observing that there is a little bit of a weakening trend with the cells approaching Davidson County. So that's a good sign. We don't want any strengthening, and it doesn't appear that it's going in that direction at the moment. Let's take a wide look at this here. Strongest cell is definitely down here in Wayne County, and Weather Service has a warning on that one, and it also is moving to the northeast. So we're taking kind of a wide shot here to see what we're looking at coming into Williamson County. So definitely a broken line of storms now. It's not a solid line, and it looks like there is generally a weakening trend with this line up to the north that would affect Davidson County. All right, checking your questions here. I'm glad to see uneventful in Kingston Springs. Elizabeth says, so far still uneventful here. That's good. You got some rain just to the west of you. Radar doesn't indicate real strong winds, but let me mention, though, if you do see storm damage or if you do see anything that's worth reporting to us as far as tree damage, any kind of wind damage, something like that, any kind of severe weather that you see, report that to us, and we'll get it right over to the Weather Service. Just tweet using hashtag TSpotter, and we get those tweets right over to the Weather Service and those reports, and they can see what's going on as soon as you send that in to us. So that is a very handy tool. Will is over there taking reports right now, and that's how you get those reports to us. Just tweet using hashtag TSpotter. If you can take a picture safely, that'd be great. Let us know where you are. Include that in your tweet so that the Weather Service has all that information when they get their report. Taking a look at some velocities up here. Yeah, just south of Pleasant View, a pretty good enhanced area of some wind. Looks like maybe 54, 55 miles an hour up at about 1,500 feet. That's around Pleasant View. So it could be some pretty gusty winds there approaching I-24 up in Cheatham County, just west of Joelton. Still not real impressed, though, with the radar signatures in Cheatham County as far as velocities go. Now, not saying there's not some gusty winds down there, but in the southern part of the line toward Kingston Springs, but it doesn't look as impressive as up there around Pleasant View up in northern Cheatham County. So Weather Service is evaluating what they're going to do here with this warning as the storm approaches Davidson County here in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. As I was saying, we still want to go check in with this storm down in Lewis County. Still some areas of broad rotation there. So we're going to watch that as it comes through western Murray County and generally up to the northeast, up like Snow Creek Road there in Murray County. So we'll keep an eye on that and realize that is generally heading our direction in Spring Hill. But so far, a severe thunderstorm warning on that. All right, let's back out just a little bit. The severe thunderstorm warning in Davidson County here is in effect until 11:45, and as we just mentioned, they're making some calls on that, whether they're going to keep that going the whole time or not, or drop it early, because the storms appear to be a little bit weaker there in Cheatham County than they were a little bit ago. So we'll see what they do with that here shortly. So 11:45 on that warning up there in Davidson County, and as long as that's in effect, we're going to go ahead and just say that you should be in a sturdy shelter, a house, something like that, some sort of building. You don't want to be outside in this, obviously. So for severe thunderstorm warnings, you can have some pretty destructive winds. Even though it is not a tornado warning, you can have some pretty gusty winds in there, but not seeing anything outrageous on radar, being indicated by radar. Could be some gusty winds there just north of Kingston Springs, on the order of 40 to 50 miles an hour there, between Ashland City down to Kingston Springs, about to cross the highway there. That's Highway 249 that runs there between Ashland City and Kingston Springs. Could be some gusty winds in there, right out ahead of this precip, this heavy rain, near Kingston Springs. But other than that, not seeing anything crazy on velocities. They're in Ashland City that would be aiming at Davidson. Back down to the south, this is our other storm we're watching right here west of Columbia. So we're keeping an eye on this as well. And Spring Hill, so the Murray County side of Spring Hill, you're included in the severe thunderstorm warning down there for Murray County. It's not into Williamson County yet. We're going to see how that progresses here in a little bit. That's for this storm. And then right behind it, there's a pretty decent storm down there in Wayne County that's right on the heels of the storm there in Lewis County. So that's what we're watching here. There are breaks in this thing. So Fairview, this line's coming through Fairview, and it really, is no big deal there in Fairview right now. So it's just basically some rain coming down there in Fairview. Going to look at the lightning here. Let me pull up the lightning. This is going to be cloud to ground lightning strikes, and that has really come down. So there's hardly any cloud to ground lightning strikes there in Cheatham County. There were some back in Dickson County, but that's come way down. So hardly any lightning here around the metro area. Down in the stronger storm down there southwest of Spring Hill, there is some, but not nearly as much up around Cheatham County. So that's good to know. All right, let's talk about who's part of the severe thunderstorm warning, at least for now. We haven't talked about that in a little while. This is basically north of the Old Hickory Boulevard, White Bridge Road area in southern Davidson County. The severe thunderstorm warning polygon here you see includes Joelton, it includes Fontenelle, it includes Beeman Park, Bells Bend, Riverwalk. Slices kind of right through Bellevue, but Bellevue, let's just say you're included. Forest Hills, you're right outside of it. Crieve Hall and Brentwood are not included, but downtown Nashville is. And then up toward Madison, you're included as well. So quite a big area of Davidson County included in this, and this is moving to the northeast. So not saying that nobody else is going to, see a warning tonight. The places that aren't included now, it's entirely possible you could. It's just right now the focus for the strongest winds is going to be up here around Cheatham County and moving into western Davidson here shortly. And in fact, the storm actually showing a little bit of an uptick in precip rates there. You see the brighter colors, the reds, there in Cheatham County. And it looks like it's lighting up a little bit more red there than it was a little bit ago. If that's an indication of storm strength, so keep an eye on that and see if it is actually strengthening or if it's just acting like it's going to strengthen. So let me back it up in time, and you can kind of see how it wasn't quite as much red, and it looks like there might be a little bit more now there right south of Ashland City, about to cross Highway 249 there in Cheatham County, and then by that point it'll be pretty close to Davidson County. All right, still want to go down and watch this storm to the southwest and see how it's evolving. Still a little bit of just very, very broad rotation there in western Murray County. So not worried about it right now, but I don't want to forget that that's there because that is generally moving in the direction of Thompson Station, Spring Hill, toward 840 there in Williamson County. Heavy rain now south of Fairview. Heavy rain picks up the further south you go. Down toward the Greenbrier community, there's Boston, the community of Boston and Williamson County. Back to the west of that, you get toward the community of Greenbrier. It's a good Sunday drive, and up toward Craigfield. So beautiful area out there. Heavy rain down there, and then the further south you go, conditions deteriorate rapidly down into Murray County as you get into the heavy rain. Back up to the north, I want to check on the velocities here because if this storm does kind of do an uptick here in Cheatham County, we want to know about it because it's coming into Davidson here pretty soon, and still not seeing anything crazy on velocities. So looking at velocities at about 40, 45 miles an hour or so, at least being indicated on radar there in Cheatham County. So it's the storm's moving a little bit northeast. Doesn't it's not the best angle to the radar image, so winds could be a little stronger than that. Right here between Kingston Springs and Ashland City along Highway 249, but radar's not indicating a very large increase in velocity. So, but we'll watch it. It's a pretty thin line. It's going to move in and out pretty quick. Hey, Stephen, good to hear from you in Ashland City. If you could let us know kind of what if you're getting strong winds, anything like that, we would be interested in that. They're updating some warnings here. They're canceling the warning for Hickman and Lewis. So that's going to be down here. That's going to disappear just like it just did. And then so now just Murray County is included in that warning. So waiting to see if they do anything up here in Davidson County, whether they keep the warning in force, which at the moment they are, or if they decide to cancel it early. But right now, they appear to be holding steady on that. Severe thunderstorm warning coming into Nashville. Down to the south, they are continuing with what's called a tornado possible. tag. It's just some text in a severe thunderstorm warning that indicates that they are not making it out of the question that there might be a tornado wrap up in there at some point during that warning. So tornado possible, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning there in Murray County. And so that's what they are saying there is they've edited that warning. And going back to look at it, yeah, rotation's still very broad. So we're watching it, but it's pretty broad. Mount Juliet, you're pretty far east. We'll have to see how it evolves as it goes east. Ellie, report from Ashland City. Not crazy wind where we are, about 3 miles south of downtown. That's good to know. That's very good to know, because you were kind of right in the core of that, and not crazy wind, so that's good to know. The green triangle in Wayne County, that is a hail indicator by radar, indicating there could be some hail. There's some small hail in that storm. They're about to actually expire that severe thunderstorm warning down there in Wayne County, so that box will disappear here shortly. And hail sizes could be getting a little bit bigger going into Lewis County. We'll have to see if they issue a new warning for that in Lewis County or not. But for now, our focus is up here in Davidson County as this line comes in from the west. So this is looking at velocities again coming into Davidson County, and eastern Ashland City radar is indicating winds about 40-45 miles an hour. That's gusty, but it's not crazy strong. So hopefully that's a good indicator that we won't have widespread straight line wind damage or anything in western Davidson County, we hope. But nonetheless, there is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Davidson County. So we certainly see that as a possibility that winds could increase and be very strong. Strong winds and lightning starting to hit Bellevue. All right. So not sure how strong the winds are down there in Bellevue, but radar's not indicating anything severe down there. But that's not to say that there could not be some strong winds down there as you go up and down the line. All right, so this warning continues till 11:45. It is now 11:23. So we have about another 20 minutes on this as it comes into Davidson County. So the first places that will get this area of heavy rain and potentially strong wind are going to be Joelton, Beeman Park, and Bells Bend. And then as that pushes east, it's going to pretty much stay north of 40, I think, the heaviest of it. And as that moves east, it's going to maybe clip downtown, but definitely up toward Fontenelle, Madison, Bakers, up in the Ivy Point, Greer Road areas. And then over to the east in Goodlettsville and Madison and Donaldson area. That's where the warning's in effect now. They are considering editing this warning a little bit here for Davidson County. So we'll see how that turns out here in just a minute. Let's go back down to the south. Still some pretty heavy weather there south of Fairview. Again, like we said a minute ago, the further south of Fairview you go, it kind of deteriorates as you go down 840. This thin red line here is 840. And crossing around 840 there, around what's that? That'd be like the Pinewood Road exit. This is the Highway 100 exit around Fairview, and there's Pinewood Road, Garrison Springs, the Smarten community down there near Greenbrier. Some beautiful driving area out there, but that's where like the Natchez Trace Parkway. That's where this heaviest rain is now in Williamson County. Non-severe right now. But there is definitely some pretty heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds. Definitely an uptick in the intensity here on the rain, at least. There in Ashland City, southeast of Ashland City, coming into Davidson County, and it looks like still not seeing anything very strong on velocities. And it looks like it's heading pretty well toward the radar, so it's got a fairly good read on it here, looking at about 40 to 45 miles an hour, maybe just a tad higher than that. But it looks to be in the 40 to 50 mile an hour range, possibly there in eastern Cheatham County, just about to cross over into Davidson County, though, on River Road Pike. and out Ashland City Highway. Is it Highway 12? I think it is, Ashland City Highway, and then going out River Road Pike. Weather Service notes that overall the storms continue to weaken overall, and the strongest storms currently are in Murray and Lewis County. So these are the ones we've been watching down to the southeast. Here's Murray County here. This one's under a warning. It's the one we've been watching for quite a while as it came out of Wayne County, Lewis County, and into Murray County now. So that's one to watch there in Murray County. And then the other one to watch is down here in Lewis County that just came out of Wayne. So that's now around Hohenwald. So these are the two strongest storms right now the Weather Service is noting. So it would not surprise me if Williamson County goes under some sort of a warning here in a little bit, if it continues on the same track that it is. But they are noting that storms are continuing to generally weaken. So if you take all of the storms around, if you take all of the storms up and down the line, if you average it all out, they're saying generally the trend is a weakening one. So let's go back up here and look at this one in Davidson County. It's now crossing over into Davidson County right there around Ashland City Highway, Highway 12, and then that will be coming down Ashland City Highway and getting to Briley Parkway there eventually on the west side of town. And the storm is there on River Road Pike as well, going over into Bells Bend. So that's generally where the storm is going. You can see the updated radar scan there, and Joelton as well. So Joelton will be getting this also. Let's see here. All right, velocities still don't seem to be real impressive up in Davidson County. Still watching this cell down here in Murray County. And we're gonna have to watch that a little bit. Could be a little bit of rotation there, just west of, just on the west side of Columbia there. I'm gonna keep an eye on that as it comes in to Williamson here shortly. So let's back out a little bit, kind of show what's going on. We have several severe thunderstorm warnings up and down the line. One of them includes Davidson County here. That's in effect until 11:45. That's about another 15 minutes. North of that, there's one in Robertson. Williamson County is kind of in the middle here. We're not currently under a warning here in Williamson County. There is a severe thunderstorm warning down in Columbia, down in Murray County. That one actually includes what's called a tornado possible tag. It's just some text inside the warning text that indicates that there could be the possibility of a tornado if it continues to develop. So we do see some rotation there on the west side of Columbia, and it's something they're keeping an eye on as well as that pushes off to the northeast. Heads up Spring Hill and Thompson Station. That storm is heading in your direction. So I'd say if you're in Spring Hill and Thompson Station, you need to be prepared. If you need to make any moves pretty quickly to shelter, you might just kind of have that in the back of your mind if you're in Spring Hill, Thompson Station, as this storm continues to appear to have some rotation with it. I'm going to go over and look at this is the radar out of Nolensville. Definitely some rotation there on the west side, northwest side of Columbia. We're going to keep an eye on that. I'm not completely comfortable with that down there in Murray County, so we're going to keep an eye on that one here in the next couple of minutes. The other storm we're going to watch is down here in Lewis County, heading northeast. All right, checking here with the Weather Service, see if they have anything else to say here. Looks like they are canceling the severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson. So our big severe thunderstorm warning polygon up here in Davidson County is going to go away. And that is a good sign. And there it goes. So at the moment, there are no warnings in effect for Davidson or Williamson counties, so that's good news. Still watching this storm down here in Murray County though, and went over and looking at TBNA. Excuse me, this is TBNA. This is radar down in Nolensville has a pretty good perspective on it. Still a little bit of rotation there northwest of Columbia. I'm not completely comfortable with us ignoring that going on southwest of us. So we're gonna stick with this for just a second, and we are going to watch this on the northern side of Murray County. So let's stick with this for a second, and that way we'll jump off of here when we're completely comfortable with giving the all clear here. But with this storm heading into Spring Hill, I know that affects a lot of folks. So if you're on the southern end if you're on the Murray County side of Spring Hill, you're included in this severe thunderstorm warning. And so that's what we're going to keep an eye on. Looks like the storm is trying to kind of reconnect and congeal back into one line. And that's, so let me put this in motion. You'll kind of see how it was pretty strong, and then it kind of broke apart, and then it's kind of getting its act back together again, trying to join back together into one line. So we'll see how that evolves over the next few minutes. But right now, it looks like pretty heavy rain really stretching all the way up and down from the northern part of Davidson County all the way down to the southern end of Williamson County. Let me look at your questions here while we're hanging out. What's the path of the Murray County storm? Generally northeast, so Spring Hill, Thompson Station, you guys will be getting this. And looks like the rotation's even more broad now than it was. So that looks like it's coming down in intensity. So that's a plus. So my advice to you, if you live in Spring Hill, Thompson Station, talking about putting the kids down, I'd probably give it about another 15-20 minutes. Just to be sure. We like to be sure. So hang with us another 15-20 minutes. Let this move on through. And, I have a hard time saying, everybody go to bed, good night, have a good one, with storms just west of us and pushing in. So let's just give this a few minutes and see what happens. Generally, intensities are coming down, but, these are some decent velocities down here on the right, on the east sides of these storms. So let's not completely let our guard down yet. So they are continuing the severe thunderstorm warning for, that's this one down here. I'm looking at some weather service information here. Could be some hail with this storm in Lewis County. So it looks like it's congealing. This line is sort of congealing into one solid line from all the way north to south, up and down between Davidson and Williamson. So again, no warnings in effect for Davidson or Williamson right now. The Davidson County warning was canceled a little bit early. That was set to expire at 11:45, and here it's 11:34 now. That warning is gone. They canceled that, and velocities are significantly lower than they were a little bit ago. So that's a good sign that was canceled. That storm up there in the northern part of Davidson County has weakened. All right. So, check your questions here. All right, they are canceling the severe thunderstorm warning for Murray County, it looks like. Let's see if it's this one. And we'll give it just a second here and see which box disappears. Yep, sure is. All right, so that was that polygon that was there in northeastern or northern Murray County. It has disappeared now, so it is now non-severe. With that, we're going to go ahead and jump off of here, and we're going to keep covering it over on Twitter. So stay with David over on Twitter. Will is taking your reports and handling some replies over on Twitter. So we're going to jump off of here, and then we'll rejoin if any other warnings are issued. Y'all stay with it till this line comes through, and then after it comes through, we'll be in good shape. Y'all have a good night.